Wait. Welcome to another Let's Talk Tuesday. Hey everybody. How y'all doing? Hope you guys are having a good Tuesday so far. Well, listen,
Awesome.
we are keeping this thing going for the month of June where we have all men guests on our show for the month of June to celebrate Father's Day. We want to say happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Father's Day was this Sunday, and we appreciate you, we honor you, and we thank you for what you do as fathers. Now, my name is Cherry, and right below me is Crystal, and we are here on behalf of Deeper Life Gospel Center's social media team. And today, we have a special guest. Wait, before I introduce him, I just want to say shout out to Pastor Wade A. Bell Sr. Happy Father's Day to Pastor Bell. We love you. He's our spiritual father, and we just thank you for all that you do.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, so now we're gonna introduce our special guest for this evening. He is none other than singer, writer extraordinaire, performer, entertainer of the world. His name is Candido.
Hey. I am so happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Yay, thank you so much for being a guest on our show. And listen, y'all, speaking of Father's Day, fathers and everything, one thing that makes this guest really special is this guest is actually Crystal's father.
Hey.
You see the resemblance? Don't they look alike? So, a little bit. So, of course, this past Sunday, Minister Keith McCoy preached a word, okay? And he talked about fathers, of course, and it was awesome. And so, Candido, we want to know what about Minister Keith's message on this past Sunday? Like, tell us some highlights of the message for you.
Man, there were so many. Talking about training up a child so that he won't, paraphrasing, wander off and forget those things that he's been taught. Training up a child. Talking about loving your wife so that the children can see, how to treat your wife and how to treat a woman. The daughters seeing how they should be treated, and the sons seeing how they should be treating their wife. The red cup thing was something that was real deep to me as well. Just a lot of bullet points there. Just a real meaty sermon. Talking about providing for your family and being the head of the house and not leading your children to strife or to anger. It just hit a lot of points for me. Just a lot of things.
Wow, that's awesome. So, Crystal, what's some things about the message that kind of stuck out to you?
Well, it's that was a dynamic message. It just reminded me of my relationship with my dad and how he taught me about a lot of different things about men and how to choose a man and how to, present yourself as a young lady in front of different types of men. And he, was telling me, what to look for and, all of that. So he touched on all of that and about the father being present in the child life. So that was really a really good point for me.
Okay, well, since we got both of y'all here, let's take advantage of having a father and a child on the show at the same time. So, Crystal, what was some of the highlights have been some of the highlights of your life so far with your father, which is Candido?
Well, you never really appreciate your parents to me until you get grown. So my dad has always been a talker, and he always teach you things. When you're in his space, he's going to tell you stories, and you may not appreciate it then, but you appreciate it now. type of thing. But that's how I feel now. Like when I met my husband, he pointed out to me like, oh yeah, y'all gonna be together for a long time. You know?
Wow.
And he never ever did that. I'm just letting you know he was hard on guys, very hard. And he put me up on game. Ladies, you need to listen to your dad, okay? I'm telling you, he know all of the tricks. Okay, he will tell you in a minute. That sound like this. That sound like that. You know. So I really think people need to appreciate their parents younger. Because if I would have listened to him while I was a teenager, I wouldn't have went through like the heartaches that I went through when I was trying to sneak.
Not trying to sneak.
Trying to sneak.
Look, I can say it now.
Uh-oh. So, Candido, what's some of the highlights that you've experienced as a father, just so far in life?
Well, me being raised by having 3 uncles in my life, and they each had a different. I had a different relationship with each one, and they all had some type of put some type of impression upon me. I had a uncle that was a pastor, and I had an uncle that was kind of from the streets, and I had an uncle that was kind of sharp and kind of, you know, with the clothes and keeping his hair cropped, and you know, and they were all very intelligent. So you take all these things, and it helps to mold you into who you are. They had sense of humor. I always preface things that I say and put humor in it when I would talk, when I would have conversations with them. Even no matter how serious something was, even though it was serious, I would always find some type of humor, because humor has a wisdom in it. I've always found, you know, you'll say things like even when you're talking about the words, be like, yeah, you know, this guy right here, the things that he's saying to you, you know, is not true, or it sounds like they're trying to put something on you, and then you put some humor in, but you mean it at the same time. And if you hurt my baby, we gonna have a problem. You know, so it's and then each one has a different personality. Having 5 children, and you have a different relationship and a different conversation with each one, because you just can't cover everybody with one thing. Say, well, I'm just going to be this way with this one person, that person, because each person have different goals, and they have different things that in the way that they think. So just talking to them like people, and not talking to them like children. You know, of course, breaking it down where it's understood, but at the same time, making sure that, you know, it's something that they can get, and it's something that's going to take them later on in their life. You're planting seeds.
Yeah.
So even though they may not get it when you're saying it, later on, when that comes up again, it'd be like, oh yeah, I heard that somewhere.
Yeah, that's a good point. So
Crystal,
what's some seeds that your dad planted in you when you were younger that now they're you know, it's showing up, like that seed was planted and now it's growing into, you know, what it was meant to be?
Well, I will never forget. Like me and my sister, we're like a year apart, and my sister was smaller than me, and I would always try to wear like the stuff that she would wear, but I couldn't because I was a little bigger, right? So I always been like a thicker girl, and when I was older, I started dressing a little bit more revealing or whatever. And my dad, I'll never forget, he was like, when I met my husband, he was like, this is not that type of dude. You're not going to be able to dress like that. You know what I'm saying? He is a preacher's kid, and, you know, basically just straighten me out. Like, you going to have to get that together. Like, the last dude might have dealt with that, but if you want this type of man, if you want your life to be a little different, you're going to have to dress a little different. And I think that me not wanting to disappoint my parents, it's kept me on this route. Like, I never really put anything too bad out there because I don't want to disappoint them. And I think that kept me, you know, it was God, of course, but it just kept me to being, you know, not out there. because I was always still, even though my dad laughed and joked stuff, I was still scared of my daddy. I'm still scared of him to this day. My mama could be like, I'm calling your daddy. I'd be like, please don't call my daddy. Don't call.
Oh, Lord. But I mean, you know what? It's good to have that reverential fear, you know,
Yeah.
with your parents, not just your father, but just with your parents, because it straighten, like you say, it straightens you out in those moments.
It straightened me out.
And those seeds of fear, like that is healthy fear that your parents plant inside of you when you're younger. Listen, that stuff will keep you out of trouble later. That stuff will keep you from getting hurt and getting into some random situation you ain't got no business later on in life. So I'm sure you would really appreciate your dad, you know, telling you, because the thing about what he said to you about how you dress and everything, people see you first. Before you anything come out your mouth, all they gonna see is everything that you showing them. And people almost always go in the wrong negative direction with that when it comes to females and what you wear and, you know, how you present yourself, you know. But and
him having, like, me having accountability from someone, it does keep you, you know, in this certain space where you don't feel like, okay, I don't want them to be disappointed in me, so I don't want them to, you know, do certain things or whatever. That's why I was scared to get pregnant or, you know, anything like that. Coming home, I have to tell my daddy that. Oh, my mom, no. So I've always had that fear, you know, because my mom, she took me to church early. You know, I was speaking in tongues early. I was praising the Lord early. You know, I had my wild times, but I never went too far. Like, I remember I wanted to get a tattoo, and my daddy was like, no. I remember I wanted to get a piercing on my belly. No. Still to this day, I have no tattoos, no belly ring.
I don't know. You always think about the future. You know, we're always thinking about our children and what's going to happen in their life later on, and you know what would happen. You got this tattoo and you trying to get this, you know, this certain job, and then they looking at that or your belly button, and just people look at you at it, you know, in a certain way when you have certain things going on with you know, certain things that you've done to your body, or this sort of thing. Always kind of look at, you know, the kind of woman that I would want, you know, and what's attractive to me, and you know, intelligence and beauty and you know, knowing God and believing in God and loving God and a sense of humor, and you know what I'm saying, having standards, and you know, you got to have standards in this world. You got to, because if you don't, you just be anything out here. You know what I'm saying? And I just see y'all as kings and queens. You know what I'm saying? So you just can't be anything and do anything.
Yeah, definitely.
So Candido, what's the biggest difference between being a father with children and then being a father with adult children? Like, what's the biggest difference that you've noticed?
It's when you're a father of children, you're giving advice and you're talking and you're guiding and you're study trying to tell them to do something or instruct them to do something. As children, you become friends. You have conversations, and you have intelligent conversations. You have diatribes. You talk back and forth, and you learn from them, because they're going through some things that in their time period that you hadn't had to go through. So you're learning things from them as well. So it's a back and forth thing at that point. So you just get a chance to enjoy them, and they get a chance to enjoy you, because it's not if you don't do that, you're gonna get a whooping, you know, or you got to be strict, you're gonna go on punishment. It's a, you know, if I were you, or this is what I think you should do, and then you get a response, and you get that intelligent response, and you hear back some of the things that you've said, and it's like an echo in your ear, and you're like, yeah, they're gonna be all right.
What's some of your like fondest memories of your children when they were little?
I liked telling them stories. I used to make up stuff
Yes, Lord.
because I wanted them to have an imagination. I used to tell my children that I could fly, and they, their bedtime was like 10 o'clock, and and then sometimes 11 if we were stretching.
Prayer
I
one,
was like,
two.
you know what? At 12 o'clock, I fly. And they were like, well, can we stay up and watch? And it was just hilarious for me to watch them trying to stay up so they could see if I could fly. And they would always fall asleep right before 12. And I was like, y'all missed it.
Uh-huh.
Oh my
The
goodness.
time that I made a haunted house in the basement, and
Oh my God.
they were so scared. It was me in the basement, and they were just scared out of their minds. It was the funniest thing ever.
Dad, what
Yeah.
was your hardest thing? Because he had girls and boys. Like, what was the hardest part with the girls and boys?
Well, of course, the hardest part with girls is the boys.
Right.
Keeping the boys away, and you wish that you could put your children in a bubble and protect them from everything. Even like your sons, you don't want them to join gangs, or you don't want them to get hurt out here fighting. Because when you're a man, people are gonna try you. But I also wanted my girls to be tough as well,
Yeah.
because people will try you, in that sense as well. And I want your husband to be scared of you. So anyway, the thing is
What?
I don't what
That's a whole nother
what
topic right there.
no, it is it's trying to like I said, help them maneuver through this world. And everybody has a different goal and a different personality. So each person, you got to tailor make something to say and to do in the conversations for that person. Someone may want to do music. Crystal is an entrepreneur. She has her own business. She's an actress, and she's a mother. She has children. So you keep all those things in mind. I have my sons. Two of my sons, they rap. Another son, he plays keyboards and sing. My daughter, she's always loved. Erica's always loved math. I mean, I've never known a child to say, I want to be a mathematician. I want to be, anything that has to do with math, and that's what she's doing. So to watch all these things unfold as they get older, it's just an awesome thing to see, But getting them there, it's difficult. It can be difficult, because you can't let them know that there's a chip in the armor, that you feel in some kind of way about certain things. Like maybe a boy that they dealing with, and you don't like her, and you have to, kind of maneuver her through that situation. Because if you tell them, well, that ain't gonna work, and you ain't, then they'll go do it anyway.
Right.
The same thing with the girls with my sons. I've seen it with women and be like, oh, girls, and like to myself, that ain't it.
Right.
But you have to let them live their life and experience that, and just be there when they fall or when things happen.
Yeah, I heard
Yeah.
that.
He was a little harder on the girls, though, just to let y'all know. He was definitely harder on me and my sister.
Yeah.
Hey, you are, listen, as women in this world, it's harder for us, because we're looked at as less than sometimes, and we're looked at, really as less than sometimes. Not all people, not that doesn't always happen, but generally speaking, all over the world, women are looked at as the lesser sex,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty sure we've proven, huh?
Which is farthest from the truth.
Okay.
Right. I think we've far exceeded, that, and we've proven that we are amazing, and
Absolutely.
I mean, we can do so many things, and it's not about whether you're a woman or a man. It's about what God placed in you, and it's about you nourishing and growing that thing that He placed in you, and being a blessing through whatever that is to the world and to others. It has nothing to
Yeah.
do with being a male or a female.
That's right.
And that's what people don't understand. People are so caught up in tradition, and and it's even parts in the Bible where it says, don't let women do this, and women shouldn't do that, and women shouldn't do this, and women should. But at the same time, if you're a woman and you're watching this, and you know that you heard God tell you to do something, and it's something that typically a man does.
Yeah.
I'll use preaching, for example. I mean, that's obviously, not
That's
that
a big
big of a
controversy.
deal. It is, but it's a lot of women preachers. But
Yeah.
if you know that God is calling you to be a preacher, you have to be obedient to your Father, which is God. God is the ultimate Father.
Okay.
That's right.
Look, happy Father's Day to you, God. Okay, because
Right. The ultimate
God.
Father.
God is our Father, has really been showing out, taking care of us through this pandemic, keeping
Woo.
us, keeping our families. So
Yeah.
Absolutely.
he is literally the GOAT, the GOAT, the greatest of all times, the greatest of fathers, and he's such a good example of what a father should be,
Yeah.
Amen.
and how a father should take care of their children, and I'm so glad that as Christians, you get the opportunity to know God as your Father, because some
Yeah.
people didn't grow up with their father. Like, I didn't grow up with my father. So
Yeah.
my mama was my daddy. She was both.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I literally just recently really started trying to like kick it with my dad, and talk more and all that kind of stuff. And it's actually really cool. It's cool to
Mhm.
like know your earthly father,
Yeah.
but at the same time, I'm so thankful for my heavenly Father, who keeps me fulfilled and content and not wanting or needing for anything, regardless if I grew up with my dad or not.
Right.
Right.
That's such a blessing. Honestly, I think that actually allows me to be open to a relationship with my father, because it's like I don't need it,
Yeah.
but it would be nice.
Yeah.
It would be cool to get to know the other person that played a part into, making me, creating me as on a natural side,
Right. Right.
but I also have had the pleasure of having a great father-in-law. I've
Mhm.
also had the pleasure of having a great spiritual father, Pastor
Yeah.
Bell. I've had other father figures in my life, like even my brother. My brother has been like a father figure to me, like as a man in my life. And
Yeah.
we talk all the time
Yeah.
about all kinds of stuff. So
Right.
I'm just thankful for all the father figures, and
Yeah.
just like Candido, like you said, you had your uncles, who were awesome father figures. They weren't your fathers, but they were father figures, which
Yeah.
Right.
is very important. That it's important to acknowledge too, for those of you who are watching, don't forget all the other men in your life who
Yeah.
attributed to who you are and who you're
Mhm.
becoming, because
Yeah.
it's
Amen.
not just your father. And if you're watching and you didn't grow up with your father, or you don't know him, or he's no longer here, just know that it's other men in your life that you may have not been looking at like that, but
Yeah.
they drop those nuggets in your
Yeah.
life, that knowledge, that wisdom, they be dropping it on you. And I'm
Yeah.
telling you, that's part of being a father type figure.
Yeah. I had
Absolutely.
a wonderful father-in-law,
Mm,
he passed like 2 months before we got married,
mm,
and he was so instrumental in our life, and he was so instrumental of how I thought about Christianity as well, so I had him in there for a couple of years as well. So it was wonderful to have him around. So like you said, it is good to have other father figures around. And then pastor now, Like
Yeah.
Right.
that's my other spiritual father. Like I'm learning
Yeah.
so much at Deeper Life, and he really does teach the gospel to change your life. So
Absolutely.
True that.
thankful that my dad and you know, brought me to Deeper Life Ministries because it has changed my life. So
Mhm.
Yeah, it's everybody has a part in your life that they contribute, you know, and they come along and they because God gives us provisions for those things that He knows that you need, you
yeah,
know. Like you said, Pastor Bell coming along, and he's really the combination of all my uncles and including my grandfather, because my grandfather he played keyboards and he played guitar. So I started picking up every instrument that I could and doing that and writing songs and this sort of thing. And Pastor Bell plays guitar. He's a musician, you
oh
Yes.
know.
wow,
Yes, he
But
does.
right, his demeanor and the way he breaks things down to you and the way he explains things to you and being able to get in, you know, to get in touch with him at any given point and him walking you through things, whether it be a death in your family, whether it be something that you're deciding about a job, him
yeah,
being there and being that, you know, being that force is an awesome thing. Sometimes you get the opportunity later in life because your parents may have worked all their lives and now you get a chance to spend time with them being retired. I got a chance to
yeah,
spend time with my dad after he retired. So it was a different relationship because he's not that much older than I am, but he would say things and that I could comprehend because it was almost the same era, you know, things about music and things about just different things. But just being in the presence and just laughing and talking about stuff. Because, you know, being a friend, you know what I'm saying? It's just it's an awesome relationship. And it is something else when you get that opportunity. It's nothing like
Yeah, I agree. Even though I didn't grow up with my dad,
it.
a couple years back, me, my mom, and my brother took a trip to visit my dad. He doesn't live in the same state as me. And it was like everything. It was
Right,
like, I mean, you have no idea how awesome it was. Like I was like a child all over again.
right,
Reliving just my mom and my dad being together was just, it was beautiful. Like, and I took so many pictures and like it kind of was like the start of our adult relationship with me and my dad. And
yeah,
hmm
you know, and I look forward to, you know, our future and the future conversations we're going to have. And you know, it's just an awesome thing. Like fathers are such a blessing to our lives. And if you
yeah,
didn't know, if you're watching this and you're like not a person who go to church, or you know, maybe you never read the Bible, but men are very important. And it's not for the reasons that I know that the world has been putting out there about.
yeah,
They're not our dictators, they don't rule over us. They have a very big responsibility,
yeah,
to making sure we're protected, making
yeah,
sure we are knowledgeable about things and we have wisdom about things. Men have a very important role to play in
yeah,
all of our
absolutely.
lives. And
yeah,
we just want to say that we thank all the fathers,
yeah,
the ones who have been there, the ones who may have wanted to be there but it couldn't be there. We just thank you, and we pray that, you know, any father child relationship that might be broken, we're praying that they get reconnected, and that you all come back together, and we speak a spirit of forgiveness over your families,
yeah,
because you need each other.
yeah,
You need each other. Your family, you're in this family that you're in because God, that's how he made it to be. So let's
yeah,
try
That's
to
right.
make the best of the families that we've been given, that we've been born into. And let's appreciate our family members, and appreciate our fathers. And
amen.
Mhm.
Candido, we want to say we appreciate you for being on the show today.
Yes, we
Thank
do.
you. It's a pleasure. Been a pleasure.
Yeah, it's been very awesome.
Yeah, it has been just beyond awesome. Sitting across and looking at my daughter, Crystal, and the woman that she's become. You know, the mother and the wife and the daughter that she is, and the friend that, you know, the friendship that we have, and the special relationship. You know, and like I said, I have this with all my children, and just to watch them with their children, watching them with their my grandchildren, and it's just an awesome thing to just watch what they're placing in them, and they're growing up to be just so awesome. So it's a link. And I have to just say this: you have to be a praying man. You have to, whether you're in church or not, be a praying man, be a praying father. Before you become a father, be a praying man, so God can send you, you know, the wife that He has for you, and so that wife can have the children that He has for you. Because the Bible says that I knew thee before you were formed. So He already knows. So if you pray and you stay in touch with Him and you stay in contact, He can guide you in the direction, you know, where you should go. But I wouldn't trade it for the world. Being a father is just the greatest thing that could ever happen, you know. And then the next thing would be a husband, and then being a brother, and be, you know, so forth and so on, uncle. So it's just an awesome thing being a grandfather. Oh my goodness, just to watch them little faces and smiling and laughing and running. It's just, yes, indeed.
Oh,
Well,
don't be getting all emotional over there.
I know, right? Well, we just want to thank everybody for watching. And listen, coming up this week at Deeper Life Gospel Center, we got interactive Bible study this Thursday with Pastor Bell, exclusively on our Facebook page. So if you don't already like and follow us on Facebook, listen, make sure you do that, okay? Like and follow us on Facebook. That's Deeper Life Gospel Center. And join us this Thursday at 7 o'clock for interactive Bible study with Pastor Bill. And it's literally what I mean, interacting. You get to interact with him through your comments. He's going to ask questions. And it's like we'll be in like a conversation with him as he's preaching. And, you know, he's asking questions and we're commenting. And we're just learning a lot in this Bible study. So again, that's this Thursday. And if you are watching from the website and you don't have a Facebook page, no worries. Go to dlgc.org, click watch live. You can also watch our interactive Bible study right there. Also, if you missed last week's Let's Talk Tuesday, you can go to our YouTube channel and make sure you subscribe. And you can look in the playlist that says Let's Talk Tuesday. You can see last week's episode as well as some previous episodes. There's a lot of good episodes of Let's Talk Tuesday. I mean, you guys really should go and binge watch that. If you want to binge watch something, binge watch that. Okay?
Right now.
Yes,
Yeah,
there's
right
some
now.
good conversations up in there. Okay?
Yes, it is.
And listen, if you don't have a church home, I just want to take this opportunity to invite you on over to Deeper Life Gospel Center. Come on over. We love meeting new people. We love welcoming new people. So please, if you would love to, like, if you're looking for a church home where you can have a church family who will love you like real family, Deeper Life Gospel Center is the place for that. So make sure you join us next week for another Let's Talk Tuesday at 7 o'clock. It will be our grand finale for the month of June, celebrating the men for the month of June. And y'all do not want to miss next Thursday. We have we got the ultimate special guest coming next Tuesday for Let's Talk Tuesday. Okay?
Yeah.
So y'all make sure y'all come on back.
Thank you, Minister Keith McCoy, for that wonderful message.
Yes, indeed. Thank you for that meet. That was awesome, man.
If you would like to watch the message from Sunday, go like and follow us on our Facebook page. That's Deeper Life Gospel Center. And look on our page. Check out Minister Keith McCoy's message about fathers. He preached on Father's Day, and it was awesome. And go back and watch that so you can kind of see what we're talking about. You know, why are we talking about this? What, you know, And our kind of focus was fathers, but I still want you to go and receive that word as well.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's a wrap for this Tuesday. And we just want to say thank you for joining us for another Let's Talk
Tuesday.
Bye. See you guys next week.